there is God's intention for restoration, in which our involvement in that restoration is to bring about the restoration of everything back into God's perfect intention, and that includes creation being set free and everything else. Along the way, obviously, man has done things which are contradictory to that and have been operating, according to a Luciferian agenda, which has been to establish sort of a world system that is, separated from God and not operating under love. And now, when it comes to things that are said and done, yes, there's an agenda, and there's always been an agenda for one world government under Lucifer, and ultimately that is what the enemy desires. But God desires are greater than the enemies. So ultimately, do I believe the world is going to be destroyed? Do I believe that it's all going to end up being destroyed by fire? No, because that is not in alignment with God's desire for restoration. But obviously, he uses us in the process. So if you look at the US, what's happening in the US, okay, there may well be things that happen in the process of sowing and reaping that are nothing to do with God's judgment of the US or anything else. But it could be that the trust of the people in government or in finance or in success may be shaken, and that might be a good thing. So not everything that happens, which is a shaking of the systems that we're presently in, is a bad thing. But God doesn't want to do it in revolution. He wants to do it in transformation and transition. So ultimately, I believe in a slow process of leavening the whole lump. So there needs to be that process. Now, things like Hollywood and things that are putting out, creative things, there may be a sort of prophetic element to some of that, which maybe man's creating those things. Obviously, you're going to get lots of new movies come out about AI and other things, because we've had them before. The Matrix, the Terminator series is all based in sort of AI taking over the world and all that type of stuff. Do I believe that will happen? No, because I believe people are being restored to sonship, and what we say carries more weight than what the world says. So one person speaking the truth can counteract 1,000,000 people speaking lies, because truth is truth, and it carries with it the weight of our authority to speak that. So I like Hollywood movies. I like movies that potentially people could look at and think, oh, these are terrible things that are going to happen. But I don't see it as this is inevitable to happen. And for me, it does give me the thing saying, I'm not going to let this happen. This is not going to happen. It may be good entertainment, but it's not going to happen. We're not going to have all of the movies made by people who make movies out of, destruction and devastation and, an asteroid hitting the earth, or, or climate change to such a degree that the earth is completely flooded or frozen, or lots of different movies out there. I am speaking the truth in love, and I carry that truth as a state of being that carries much more weight than Hollywood. So just a few of us carrying that truth, being that truth, expressing that truth, will overcome all of the prophetic things that Hollywood may be stating are going to happen. The zombie apocalypse is another one. And we've had movies for the last probably 30 years, starting, with, back in the 80s and stuff like that, about zombies and things like that. And potentially, there could be diseases that have that effect. But will it happen? No, I don't believe it's going to happen like that, because I believe that is not God's intention for mankind, that they're all going to turn into zombies. So ultimately, God's desire is that we would outwork love and love one another, and love will overcome all of these negativities in the long run. But we've got to be in it for the long haul. And along the way, there may be a few shakings and things that shake people's trust in world systems so that they can turn to God. and find the truth in the kingdom of God. So I don't have a problem with the financial system being shaken or other things, governmental systems being shaken, you know, because I don't believe ultimately that's going to affect the outcome in the long run. And I believe if we carry the truth, communicate that truth, live that truth, express that truth, I am not going to allow, you know, these things to take place on my watch, because I, as a son of God, I have authority, and I carry way more authority than Hollywood, as you do. But I don't come into agreement with Hollywood, even though I enjoy the movies. They're entertainment of what could happen, but what won't happen, because my whole intention is that restoration will take place rather than destruction, devastation, disaster. Although there may be some things that happen along the way that I think will cause people to start to look to the right position and the right truth. So fear will be conquered by love. These things promote fear. A lot of Christians promote fear, fear of the future, Armageddon, you know, civil war, war in the Middle East. You know, they're prophesying this stuff all the time, but they prophesy it from a view of God as God judging the world and bringing these things, rather than God loving the world and overcoming these things. So I believe restoration will take place, and we won't see the destruction of the world in the way in which these things promote. Now, hopefully, perfect love, as we know, will cast out fear. And if we embrace perfect love, then there's nothing to fear in these things. If you enjoy these videos, would you please take a moment to like, comment, and subscribe? It really does help. Thank you very much.